Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to continue refactoring our previous application with what we learned our previous lesson. But before starting my video, if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, please do, and do not forget to turn your notifications as I'm sharing great contents every day. Alright, let's switch on your development branch and open our application demo project. Let's have a look what we done here first. Okay, we have a welcoming message here, and we have a selection. Okay, we need to check this selection, is it valid or invalid number. Okay, to do that, I am going to add a do while because I want my application to try what I type in the first hand. Perfect. And I'm going to add a logic here now. If selection, no, not selection, if string is null or empty, I'm gonna check the user entry, is it going to be null or not. And also, by the way, it is going to be true section, so it shouldn't be null. Alright, user entry shouldn't be null, and user entry shouldn't be null or white space. And user, our selection must be one or not user selection, one or two. Okay, so if we have this condition, I want my loop false. So I'm going to assign a boolean outside my do while block. Why I'm defining outside the block, I'm gonna show you now. Bool is bool condition. And I'm going to assign is as a default false. Now I'm going to condition false and I'm going to break it. I'm going to explain everything. Actually, let me check it if it's needed an initial value or not. But if my logic work as a, how can I say, if we declined from this logic, I want to assign my condition true. And I would like to send a message to the user with a, let's leave a gap. Please select one or two. Let me check. And I'm going to give condition for my do while logic. Let me have a check quickly. And also I can use this sign here to remove Greenland because I already checked my selection, is it going to be null or not. Perfect. But there is a problem here. I couldn't access my selection. So I'm going to define this selection string selection outside, and I'm going to do the assignment in do while block, and I'm able to use from the other blocks. Alright, let me have a quick look and let's try our application now. Before starting your application, don't forget your set startup project. Let's try our project now. If it's working, I'm going to explain step by step. Alright. Let's try to give an null or empty selection. Okay, as you can see, it's asking me again, please select one or two. Let's give some space. It's asking me again. Do something random value. It's asking me again. What if I type 1 as requested? We have a problem again. Our application is not now working. Let me have a look quickly. Selection is 1 or selection is the condition false. This is only working if condition is true. Let's put a breakpoint here and try the result then. Alright. Okay. Let's function 11. It is asking me a value and I type wrong one. The selection is, as you can see, FTG and it is going outside my logic because it's not fit my logic. So it is asking me please select one or two. Condition is true, so we're going back again. Perfect. Condition is true right now. And it's going to ask me again. I'm going to select one. It's skipped again. Why we skipped again? Alright, the condition is true. Okay, let's try to figure out what the problem we have here. What kind of problem we have here. Selection must be 1 or 2. Perfect, the logic is working actually. Alright, I forget to put my sign here because it shouldn't be white space. Okay, now it's going to work, guys. You have to be careful while you're using signs. Okay, let's use a white space and null. Okay, perfect. Let's type random numbers, random text. Okay, let's type 1. Now it's working. Perfect. Okay, let me explain now. Our program, our application is going to run as an initial on the initial start, and I would like to see the selection. Is it valid or not? So how can I do that? So I'm going to build a logic and algorithm here, and it is checking. It shouldn't be null or empty. This sign make the opposite of the result. Okay. Normally, if I didn't use it, string is null or empty, selection is going to be true. So I'm gonna make it false. Okay. So it shouldn't be null or empty, and it shouldn't be null or white space, and it must be 1 or 2. That's why I'm using OR operator here. So if it's so, I'm going to assign the condition as a false because I don't want my do while block continue more, and I'm going to use break because after I finished everything in if block here, if I couldn't if I didn't use break, my application continue with these two lines. But if I use break, do while block completely cancelled and we jump directed to the end. So we skip these two if our condition is ready to go. Okay, perfect. Let's continue with the selection side. We select case 1. This is great calculator for students. Student name. We have a great calculation here. Also, we need to make a logic here like this one. So I'm going to make a method here because I have 1, 2, 3 more exam check. Let's type here a void. Start with the void. We can change to the value type return method. User entry. I'm gonna give the parameters later. Let's create our method first. Okay, I'm gonna bring this do while completely, and I'm going to convert to my exam result. Okay. All right. So it is asking me, I'm gonna bring one of my exam, Control C. Let's put it here, and I'm gonna fit this do while to this entry. Okay. So we need a string text. Okay. So we're going to define which exam for this method, which exam for. Okay. So we need a string title. Let's give this title here. Perfect. Let's delete it now. It's done. So we have a string exam first. Okay. Let's type is user entry. We already use the user entry. Just type this entry. Okay. String entry. Or we can say user entry anyway. Type user entry. Okay. We have a user entry here. So we're going to check this user entry here, but we don't have any selection. I'm going to delete these two. So it cannot be null, it cannot be empty, it cannot be white space, and what else? It has to be between 0 and 100, because this is an examination result, and it has to be a number, not a text. So let's check. Also, it has to be between 0 and 100, right? But before that, I think we need to check, is it number or text, right? Okay. So I don't want the user enter and the letter instead of numbers. Okay, let's type int try parse user entry, and I don't want any outcome. Perfect. Let's close. Okay. So there is a boolean result. If user entry is eligible to convert integer, we're going to get true. All right. So I want this section to be true. If it false, we're not going to enter this section. We're going to get an error message. Please enter a valid value. All right. This condition is going to be true, and we're going back again. Let's delete this one as well. Have a look again. Is it working nicely? And I'm going to return as an integer because we need the result. Let's type here. Okay, if it's true, I can assign this value to an integer, right? Out integer exam result. Perfect. And I'm using break here, but I need to return a value. So how can I return a value with the breaking? Let me think a little bit. If I use an integer, condition false. What if I return here, return example result? Let's see if it's going to work. I really would like to see. But the problem is, we need to return a condition again for the out of the if block. So we need to return a value again. Let me have a look quickly. What can I do? Condition is true. Just return example result. Not example result, just return 0. I just would like to try, is it going to work or not? Then we can change it. Okay, let's delete it. User entry. It is asking us a title. Let's type exam1. Perfect. Let's try now, but I'm gonna make a command line. Any error here? No, it's a lot of error here. Exam first. Var exam first. Exam first user enter exam1. But this is integer anyway. Returned value is integer. I'm gonna delete it. Okay. Okay, there is no error right now. I just would like to try this method. Is it going to work or not? I'm going to put a breakpoint here and see what's gonna happen now. Okay, let's go selection 1, student name done, and let's press F11. It is going to ask us exam1 entry. For example, what if I type 25? It's a correct one, right? Let's enter. Let's see the results. So the condition is false to return exam results, and we directly end the loop. So this is working, I think. Let's have a look. Continue. Perfect. What if I type a wrong number or something we shouldn't enter? Let's try F11, 11. Okay, let's try to type, for example, text. Now, yep, we're going to get error message. Condition is true. Return 0. I want my application work with a loop. So let's remove it. I'm going to take this return and put it outside to my loop. So what's gonna happen now if it's okay, I'm going to bring my return here and I'm going to put a break again. So what does that mean? Okay, there is one um, there is one way to go outside of our do while loop if it's only false. So if it's true, we don't need to use a return value. Okay, so only we need to do assign this exam result out of the do block. Okay, I'm going to put an integer, an exam result here, and I'm going to assign this exam result in my if block. But we have a problem here because it is telling me there is an assignment. I'm going to define this exam result as a 0, and it is if there is no problem in my entry, it's going to be assigned by user entry. If there is a problem, we cannot go outside our loop, so it won't work. Hopefully it's going to work now. Let's try our application now. Let's do selection 1, student name. I'm not going to use the breakpoint anymore. Let's continue. Exam 1. Let's type random. Yep, perfect. Let's type random. Okay, it's not random. The value is working. We need to um, put some restrictions about what kind of number we're supposed to enter. Let's go back. So this number must be between 100 and 0, right? Okay, so what can I do in this situation? After our condition assigned false, we can delete this break and we can add another. Should I do this? No. Let me try to add here. Let's add, alright, user entry. No. What if I use exam result bigger than 0 and exam result smaller than 100, less than and equal and bigger than exam 0. Okay, I'm considering after this try parse works, I have exam result in my hands. Probably it's going to work. Let's have a look quickly, and I'm going to put a breakpoint here, and I'm going to see the result. The selection is 1, student name, exam. Okay, let's see the results. As you can see, the exam result 125 and exam result 125. The condition is, let me see, this is true, but this is 125, this is false. Perfect, it's working. Let's stop the application here. Okay, so I can use this method now, as you can see, like this section. Okay, let's control D to multiply those three methods. Exam second, exam third, let's change the exam 2 and third. And we don't need to parse them because our result coming as an integer. Perfect. Alright, as you can see, the result is coming integer. Can we assign a method to this section? Of course we can do. Let's do our another method, integer user entry for selection. Let's copy this to while. Is there any returning value? Let me have a look. We need the selection, right? We need selection as a string. Let's go back here. Let's type here string. What is the problem here now? To selection. We forgot the brackets. Okay. Put a string here. So we need to return our selection as a string. Alright, let me have a look. So if we have problem here, it's going to be return. Okay, let's return selection. It must be correct, right? When it's break, it's going to be outside. If it's not break, it's going to return all the time. But the selection is confused with this one. I'm going to delete it. and I'm going to delete as well. Selection and condition. Okay. So we need to assign a selection here. Let me have a look. What if I type here string selection? Yep, this is empty selection, but doesn't matter. We're going to assign if we able to type a valid result. So we need a condition as well. So let's type bool condition here. Okay, condition is going to work inside our method. We don't need to take it back. By the way, we need a condition here as well. Okay, I was studying with the other one. Let's type here bool a condition. Perfect. Both of them is working. It seems working. Let's use this method var selection user entry for selection. We don't have any parameters, and so it seems okay. Let's try our application now. As you can see, it's asking us. Let's type something wrong. Yep, one, it's working. Perfect. Let's close and continue. This is done. This is done. So actually, do we need to do something here? We have an entry here. We have an average result. This is an if-else block here. We're checking the student name here. If the student name is not written, we got a problem here. So I'm not going to use if-else here. If there is no student name, I'm going to tell the application don't continue, right? There is no student name here. Okay, let's delete it. No, I'm gonna keep it. I already did the do while block anyway. The only thing I'm gonna add the do while block, and the application going to ask me again and again what the student name is. So let's leave it like that. It seems really good like that. Okay, let's continue. I can take this examination result as another method. Let's close these methods. Let's type void grade calculator. I'm gonna bring my if blocks here. Let's type command signs not to forget to place. Okay, we need a parameter called average result, which is going to be integer. Perfect. Let's close this one. All we need is add our grade calculator. Here is average result. So we need perfect. All right. This is end of the case one, right? As you can see, we really make much more easy to read our project. Let's close the case one. Let's continue with the case two. We have here some, before starting case two, let me have a look how many minutes. It's 30 minutes. Let's continue and finish this section in one video. I don't want to interrupt and divide your concentration. We can create an array for those prices. Let's type an integer array. Let's give a prices of items. and 125, 35, 36, 3 and 1. Okay, we can delete all of them now. We need a calculation, right? Let's make a calculation now. Let's use a for each. Oops, I clicked something wrong place. Okay, I need to assign this section here. Our variable has been assigned. Now I'm going to create it. Now I'm going to assign the value to this variable. Okay. Total cost for each student equal previous one plus the item. So every time loop is working, it's going to add the value to on it. But there is a problem here. Let's have a look. Use of an assigned local variable. So it won't be assigned an initial value, and I'm going to give a 0. So it's okay. So there is a way to use this section much more, how can I say, easily. So when you see there is a 3 dot underneath of your command line, put your cursor on it and use compound assignment. Let's click our lamp, use compound assignment. As you can see, there is a much better usage. Okay, let's click this one and it's converted to this. It's the same result we have. Okay, don't worry about it. You can use like that. Perfect. And we are using just one line command. I'm going to delete the curly brackets and Control K and D from your keyboard. Um, it makes your codes better looking. Let's continue. So it's asking us how many student is registered in student number. Okay, it is asking us student number, and we can add again our do while, because we have to check the student number have to be a number, not a text, not a letter. I mean, so can I use my user entry here? This is exam result, but let me have a look. Title, entry null space, try parse, but I can only use for between 100 and 100, 0 and 100. So I'm not gonna make a method for this one. Okay, let's do a method. Okay, I'm gonna do a method. I changed my mind. Okay, let's change student number entry. We need a title. We don't need a title because I'm going to use just for this section. I'm gonna bring in how many students registered, user entry. Okay, cannot be null, cannot be white space, and it has to be a number, but I don't need this section. Condition false, please enter a valid value. Perfect. Condition exam. This is not going to be exam result. This is going to be student number. Quantity. Quantity. Yep. Control C, Control V, Control V. Okay, I'm gonna use this method here. Was student quantity student number entry. It's not asking anything. Alright, so let's fix our calculations. Total cost for each student. Actually, this is not correct. Total cost just type, yeah, total cost for each student. Yes, I'm gonna delete it. We don't need it anymore. We already calculated. And the total cost is, yeah, I'm going to use this variable. Perfect. And console right line, total cost of school this year, total cost, break, there is an error. Okay, just in case, I'm going to keep this default if there is an error in our project. Okay, I'm going to start my application now and see if there is an error or not. Selection 2, 25 student registered, and 5,000 pound is going to be cost. Let's have a check quickly. Open calculator. 125, 35, 36, 3, and 1. Multiply 25 with 5,000. Okay, we did correct. No problem at all. And let's try our case 1 again. But before case 1, I'm going to try. Is it working? Yep, it's working. Perfect. Let's try to case 1 again, just in case to make sure is everything okay. Selection 1, student name. If I type empty, I'm going to get an error message. Student forgot to enter his name. Perfect. Let's select again, type a name, exam 1. It's asking me 20, exam 2. It's asking me again, exam 3. Asking me again, and the 63 grade is passed, but student must study harder. Perfect, it's working. Let's close the cases, and these are our methods. So we practiced our array methods and loops in this refactoring our project. Hopefully you understand everything smoothly. We will continue with the other subject for the next lesson. Now I'm going to commit my changes. Let's have a look what was the name before the previous one. Where is my managed branches? Application example. I'm going to give a name, application refactoring. Okay. Save and commit. Perfect. Let's switch to the main. Right click on dev. Merge them into the main. Perfect. It's done. Alright. When you download my repository from my cloud, when I finish this project, if you would like to see my previous version of my project, the first version, just go to your commitments, right click on your application example, click your new branch and say, I'm saying test, you can give something else. Let's create, and you will able to see the previous version of my project. Let's have a look. As you can see, there is no change here. Okay, I'm gonna delete it now as I'm not gonna use it. Right click on test and delete. Perfect. Alright guys, if you didn't watch my Git and GitHub video, I strongly suggest you to watch it because it's really useful and it's really mandatory your software development skills. I'm going to share somewhere in the right top side. You can click and watch this video. Okay guys, I'm going to finish this lesson here and hopefully you like the video, and if you crash the like button, I will be really appreciated as it motivates me. And if you have questions, do not forget to drop comment below the video. I'm here always for you guys. Take care of yourself. See you on next lesson. Bye bye.